Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're watching or listening to this fine broadcast, this is episode 321 of the Hoots podcast. Jot it down. August 4th, actually. August 4th, Thursday, August 4th, 2022. Comes to you live from the Good Brothers studio in lovely Chicago, Illinois. It's a brand new edition of the podcast that Hoots. It is yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. I am alongside the director of operations, Mr. Derek Stoughton. What's going on, my man?
What's happening, everybody? A very pleasant good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, whenever you may be listening to this fine podcast and wherever you may be. Tribute to the great Vin Scully, and I'm sure we'll get into that at some point this week. But great to be with you, Josh. It's going to be another wonderful week of professional wrestling. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of great stuff that happened this week. We had a lot of terrible stuff that happened this week, and we'll get into that later on in the show. But really great to be with you. We are in August, which means that school's starting up again for a lot of people. Derek's going to be able to teach everybody about all the things once again. That's what he does, as the master is what I do as director of operations. I'm going to continue to operate all the directions. Director of operations, I operate all of the directions. I just came up with that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So it's like the television champion is the champion of all TVs, right? So as director of operations, operation of all directions. Well,
if you're AEW, you're only showing up for matches nobody gives a shit about.
That's true. Oh boy. So, man, glad to be with you, brother. Let's get rocking.
Yes, we got some new changes to the Hoots podcast.
Oh, I like that.
I told Brother Carter about this before we came on air. We are changing the name of our Q&A session. It's no longer the Good Brothers. I think it's time for us to level up, if you will, Brother Carter. I think we could stray away from the Good Brothers name. I think we all established that we are brothers. But the Good Brothers itself is kind of becoming a decreasing value professional wrestling. And with it started today, we introduced the Back Porch Q&A session.
I like it.
And if it's your first time listening or watching the Hoots podcast, you want to say thank you for giving us a chance. This podcast drops every single Thursday, anywhere you get your podcast from, especially YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see the video versions of the podcast. And if this is your first time listening, I want you guys to know, and the gist of the show is that we want you to feel like we're sitting next to you and we're just shooting the shit on the back porch or around a fire pit. It feels like a weekend. And me and Brother Carter are very fortunate and grateful for everybody who listens to the Hoots podcast each and every single week. Especially last week is our highest rated and most listened to episode of the podcast in the last 6 years. So I just want to say thank you all of you guys. But also big thanks to referee Tony for hopping on with us last week. It was a fun preview show. I'm very happy for Tony getting to enjoy his time down there in Charlotte, North Carolina for the Gathering wrestling convention that's going down there. I told him to enjoy himself, enjoy Charlotte, enjoy all the waterfall streams that may be available down there, and have a good time. But so congrats to referee Tony. I'm happy to get to do some cool referee stuff for the NWA. Really quick, speaking of referee Tony, I did get a chance to check out the latest Rewind edition that Brother Carter happened to be on with Tony for the Heat Pod, which you subscribe to right now. The feature match was the highly rated, overrated.
I used we turned highly rated in quotation in air quotes there, Josh. Yeah.
Major asterisk on that match. Highly overrated match of Kenny Olivier against Okada. I did get a chance to listen to it, Brother Carter. I will say a job well done, as always. Very entertaining. Hearing you gas at the short-sightedness of Okada not going for pin covers after tombstones was quite...
Yeah, like, this just makes sense, right? Like, you dropped the guy on his head. Why did you not try to pin him? Like, You moron. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like picture the Undertaker not going for a cover after the two stuff. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, as much as the match was what it was, I remember typing that out because I covered that match live. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, that Dominion show, and yeah, that took me about almost 2 hours to type out because that was a almost close to 90-minute match.
Yeah, no, it was
2 out of 3 falls.
It was a good match. Like yeah, I think we can both agree, Josh. It was a good match, and I enjoyed watching it. But 8 stars or 7 stars, come on. I gave it 4.25 stars. That's about all it's worth.
Yeah, it's like comparing Thriller to one of Justin Bieber's albums from 10 years ago. That's why I look at Okada and Omega compared to like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Like
you know.
If you want to give 7 stars, it's that type of match. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Spot. Because despite what other promotions tell you, you actually need to tell a story.
Yes. We're just
not story time with Adam Cole, but we'll get into that in just a little bit.
Wow. Don't even start on that. Yeah, we got what the hell's wrong with AEW later on. Maybe what the F is wrong with AEW this week. I'm not sure. But we are coming off the heels of an entertaining SummerSlam we'll recap in a couple minutes. But let's start this bad boy off with the Back Porch Q&A session. Now, as always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media, or you can send us a list of questions like our good friend Mike Rubio does at the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. By the way, if you want to send us any suggestions, any sponsors want to partake in help the Hoots Podcast, we appreciate that as well. Hit us up at the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com.
By the way, also, we are still using the hashtag Free the Hoots Podcast because I still don't understand why the Twitter machine feels that you've violated their terms of policy. I don't get it. We're not AEW, botches or whatever.
Right. Yeah. We're not Kenny Olivier 609 or whatever his account is. But like I was
great follow. AEW botches on Twitter. That's a great follow.
Yes. But seriously, but I'm like I don't get why I suspended for putting out some actually good guitar covers and it's something that sounds good for a minute. But hey, everybody can throw out clips to porn scenes from movies. There's actual accounts where there's legitimate porn and like all the OnlyFans people out there. I see the craziest stuff on Twitter, Brookhart. All fair game. Those counts don't get suspended. But I do a guitar cover of a James Blunt song, but I get a copyright strike for 30 seconds of You're Beautiful. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously? It's so ridiculous.
Anyways. Good Brothers Q&A. Yeah, or sorry, the Back Porch Q&A. Sorry, it's going to take me, I got to get used to the change to -2 in my performance evaluation.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one here comes from the good brother Chris Zaletta and X-Teen Zaletta24X, who was actually in Nashville this past weekend. I hope you had a good time, man.
Hope you enjoyed the show, yeah.
He said, which team won at the MLB trade deadline? Now, before we answer that, Mike also asked this question as well, so we could tie both of these together here, Brother Carter. Any thoughts? I
didn't really follow it that closely. I just know Juan Soto got traded to the Padres, and that's a huge upgrade for them. That's going to be a major – I don't know how they were able to get him, but that's going to give them a huge shot in the arm. So watch out for the Padres. I mean, that's the obvious answer, but I don't know if there's like a hidden kind of – if there's some underlying answers that we might not know about.
Yeah. For me, I look at the whole scene and everything, and it's like – it's gotta suck to be a Washington sports fan. Let me you think you got your future all laid out with you with Bryce Harper. That goes nowhere. He's now with the Phillies. Juan Soto is now traded to the Padres. I guess you want to say for name value, yeah, they're probably the main winners. I know the Yankees made a couple moves. I know the Twins got a couple of pitchers, like Michael Fulmer. I think for the Tigers went to the Twins, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
Again, now I'm speaking as somebody who doesn't really watch baseball as much as I used to.
Right.
I'm not fully in depth with it unless it's like White Sox related. God knows I have to wake up every day with something new related to Tony La Russa and all this shit. Even with all that, the White Sox are still 2 games behind first place in the division, and everybody in the city's acting like the sky's falling. It's it's a magical thing to experience being a Chicago sports fan.
I was going to say, Josh, Chicago sports fans have never been known to be the most rational people in the world.
Yeah.
and to be fair, besides the Cubs, you haven't had a whole lot to cheer for in the last long time.
Well, I would like to remind ESPN that the White Sox are the first team to win a World Series in 100 years, not the Cubs. Let's throw that out there. I know it was all great. Game 7 there in Chitlin, Ohio, and I get all the fairy tales with the Cubs, but let's give the White Sox some respect. They did. I'm sorry, Mike. I do have to bring this up. They did sweep the Houston Astros in 2005. But going back to the Padres, like, here's the thing. They got Manny Machado. They had Fernando Tatis Jr. over the last couple years. They're like, man, San Diego's going to be like a powerhouse in MLB. They fired a manager since then.
Mm-hmm.
They've struggled to make the playoffs the last couple of years. Okay, you got Juan Soto. It's now or never for these guys. Like, honestly. It's kind of like the Yankee syndrome. You could have all the money, all the stars in the world, but if you ain't winning anything, it don't mean shit.
That's right. Well, you see this in pro sports all the time. These teams try to buy the championship because Brooklyn Nets. There's example number 1. They brought in KD and Kyrie and James Harden, and what happened? They didn't win shit, and now it all imploded, and they're going to go somewhere else. By the way, a side note. I got to go to my first Colorado Rockies baseball game this past weekend. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. Rockies lost, unfortunately. But so there's an outfielder for the Dodgers, James Outman, and he just played his first major league game. It was his first major league game. He had just been called up for the minors. His first at-bat, he hit a home run. And I was like, man, this kid's off all right. Sweet. Like, you know, what's your story? Well, my first game in the major leagues, I hit a home run. What did you do? You know, right. So, I thought that was kind of cool. So shout out to him for that. That was pretty cool.
Speaking of first moments, you know, JR's first WWE broadcast was WrestleMania 9.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, think about that. JR, his first WWE show was the WrestleMania 9. That's pretty wild.
That was that Hogan Yokozuna?
Yeah, all the shenanigans with Bret Hart too.
Yes,
I think you can say WrestleMania 9 was the start of Bret Hart becoming bitter and his journey to that land. Okay. Yes, Mr. Fuji, all the salt, and I'm rattling all this stuff up, and I wasn't even born. I'm not even sure my mom was pregnant by the time yet. I was born the next year in '94. So
I mean, I might need to go back and watch like those old, like, because I never got a chance growing up to watch like the Hogan Warrior or the Hogan Savage, you know, WrestleMania 5, WrestleMania 6. I may have to go back and watch those just to see what wrestling was like back in the day.
Yes, a lot of shorter matches and a lot of weird chin locks. Yes.
This is true.
All right, let's go to the next question here for Chris. That was an interesting one. We don't really talk about baseball here much. Your highlights from SummerSlam. I'll take this one first. We'll get more in depth when we get to the WWE segment, but for me, I have 3 of them actually. One is the opening match and everything that got into that with Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. I loved the match, and also what came after that with Bayley and company. I thought that was cool. Secondly, I don't know about you, Brett Carter, but I thought Logan Paul stole the show.
Yep. I was going to say the exact same thing, actually. That was the exact same thing I was going to say. Logan Paul was fantastic.
Yeah, he impressed me. He honestly, if I could make a comp for him as a wrestler, and New Japan wrestlers, New Japan fans will relate to this. He reminds me a lot of Sonata from Lij, who is a very agile, and he just looks smooth, like a very like finesse wrestler, and you wouldn't expect that from Logan Paul. By the way, I'm gonna say this again later on, but please, can we give the Miz his flowers and show him some respect, please? Yes.
Everything he does, Happy Corbin's the same way. Everything they both do, it works.
Yes, and by the way, the Miz is the most luckiest bastard on God's green earth. And then finally, how can I be remiss without mentioning the craziest no DQ match I've probably seen in the last 10 years? He freaking tipped the ring over with a tractor.
Right. Here's the thing, too, Josh. I know everyone's going to get on us like, oh, you like this match, but when AEW does the same thing, you don't like it. It's because WWE only does it every once in a while. AEW doesn't do it every freaking week. It's more special that way when you do something just totally crazy and out of left field.
Barbed wire, dumpster match, coffin match next week in Minnesota. Like, we can write off all the gimmicks we see in Dynamite recently. You made a great point. Not only that, they have an identity. We've seen every type of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match outside of this one, so it necessitated having a no DQ stipulation. By the way, did even Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns bleed on Saturday?
How about that? How about that? So you don't need to have blood to put on an incredibly entertaining, crazy match. Wow.
What a concept. Any other highlights for the show?
Those were the main ones for me, actually, was, of course, and I don't know if they're obvious ones, but seeing Dakota Kai and Io Sky come back, I thought was great. Logan Paul, I thought was fantastic. And we'll talk about this more in detail. And then, of course, the Roman Reigns thing. Those are definitely the highlights for me. Exact same as you, Josh. Those are the three I was going to say. But and we'll get more into when we get into SummerSlam. But those are my highlights as well.
All right, we go to the next question here in the Back Porch Q&A session. Who is more likely to beat Mandy Rose for the title? Nikita Lyons or Alba Fire? Alba Fire, for those who don't know, is formerly known as Kaylee Ray from NXT UK. She got a new gimmick. Go back to the whole name change argument. Hey, guys, some of these performers may want to keep their intellectual property at the end of the day. It's not the end of the world if they change the name to something different. It's
fine.
It's part of the business. That's a good question. Because there's a lot of options. I mean, you got Cora Jade, who's now one of the top heels down there.
Mm-hmm.
You still got Roxanne Perez, Zoe Sark, who used to be Io Sky's tag team partner at NXT, is still down there. She just came back from her knee injury.
Right.
Nikita Lyons, by the way, good waterfall. Waterfall approved, especially at Mandy Rose as well. But Mandy, to me, is probably the most improved wrestler that I've seen in the last year or so.
Oh, 100%.
I know you don't get a chance to watch NXT as much, but her in-ring stuff, since she's been in NXT, is like went up a couple of notches, like big time.
Oh, the couple times I've had a chance to see her, she's completely reinvented herself. She looks fantastic. And I think the moment they're ready to bring her up, if she ever wants to go back to Raw or SmackDown, she will make an immediate impact.
Yeah.
I think.
If I look at this question, I'll go with Alba Fire only because it's a different type of baby face that kind of like gets her, like, Mandy Rose intimidated in that light. I think it's too early for Roxanne Perez to get the title, and Nikita Lyons is a popular character, but she's not there yet to be like, oh, let's just give her the title right there. So I'll go with Alba Fire. But
that's interesting, because I was going to say Nikita Lyons, just from what I've seen in in reviews and like the few clips I get to watch on YouTube. Seems like they're really trying to push her. Like, she just came back and won a Battle Royal, I think, not too long ago, didn't she?
No, it was Zoe Stark.
Oh, Zoe Stark. Okay, she did something based. I can't remember what it was, but she did something major recently. But
hey, don't get me wrong. That girl got the it factor. She got that and then stuff. There's a lot of good qualities in the Kia lines from the overall presentation. No.
Sure. Right. Oh, well, we'll have to see. That's the great part about it, and
Yes.
it's gonna be great.
Ooh. Thoughts on the whole Ric Flair's last match show? What was your favorite match on the card? All right. Outside of the how you say this kindly, the
spectacle.
Yeah, the spectacle, there's an expression they say, the public something.
The court, what the public opinion, the court of the public eye, whatever it was.
Publicity stunt. There you go, publicity stunt.
Oh, publicity stunt. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what it was.
I had to bring back my smart book words against this show. Publicity stunt. Yeah, outside of the publicity stunt we saw this past Sunday night, I will say the presentation of the Ric Flair's last match show was pretty cool. And I want to give props to Conrad Thompson for getting all these companies to work with each other to pull this off. It's amazing to me that this event provided the best commentary we've heard from Tony Schiavone in the last 3 years. I forgot that Tony was calling the show. That's how good of a job he was.
Good, yeah.
And as far as the matches are concerned, there's 3 of them that really stood out to me. Brother Cardo, you kind of caught it towards the middle part.
Yeah, I think I came in right at the start of the Josh Alexander Jacob Fatu match.
Yeah, that's one of them. That match was fantastic. Outside the ending, I don't know why they needed Mid Cardona and Brian Myers to ruin the mood, but whatever. Can those guys be more mid? Like, they're like the definition of mid. But Jacob Fatu, I've seen a lot of his work in MLW, obviously, and Josh Alexander is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I just love that hostile type of match. I thought it was very, very good. Also, some of you guys may be surprised with this, but I really enjoyed the 4-way lucha match that was on the show with Phoenix, Black Taurus, Laredo Kid, and Bandito. It was a 4-way match that was just you could call it a tumbling fest or a spot fest, but that match was fucking awesome. So I really enjoyed that one. And then my favorite match of the show was the first one, which was Motor City Machine Guns against the American Wolves. That was a very, very good tag team match on the card. So, and then as far as my thoughts on the publicity stunt, I'll say this: Jeff Jarrett did a very good job with getting the crowd to hate him and boo him out the building. I will say that. When it came to a heat magnet, him and Karen Jarrett just fit that to the bill. I thought that came out pretty good. I could have done without Karen getting into a brawl with one of Ric Flair's daughters at ringside. I don't know what Conrad was trying to do to not even try to bring up the fight. That was kind of weird. I did see my guy Undertaker there in the front row.
He was there. Mick Foley was there.
Yeah, Mick Foley, the clout chaser. All due respect to Mick Foley. Oh, I just got a new WWE contract. Oh, I'm here the next night, and he's like, here, my son. He's like, oh, this show is better than SummerSlam. Get the fuck out of here. That guy's such a cloud chaser now. He says it's sad.
It's sad. I thought that I got to see the women's triple threat match. I thought that was nice. It's my first time to get to see Jordan Grace, who I was very impressed with. She's got a great look too, so I'm a fan of hers. It looked like Rachel Ellering got hurt early, so I mean, she got through the match. It was fine, but like you could definitely see that. And when they showed the replay, you could see that she tweaked her ankle. Yeah, for sure. So that kind of sucked. And of course, Deonna Purrazzo. What can we say about how fantastic she is? So I enjoyed that match for sure. But I want to see more of Jacob Fatu, man. That guy looks like he's the real deal.
Jacob Fatu is very, very good for what he does for a guy his size. It just carries a cool swag about him. He's
Absolutely.
very, very good. A lot of people are like, oh, why is he not in WWE?
Maybe he will be one day. You never know.
On the road.
Yeah. Okay, Josh, I think we need to talk about the main event just a little bit. I think now, was it hard to watch at times? Like when we got into like the 20th minute and stuff like that? Absolutely. I was like, okay, all right. Yes, Ric Flair, we get it. You're doing your thing. Fine. But overall, it was what it needed to be. You got one more of the classic. The only thing that was missing was the Flair flop. I would have loved to have seen a Flair flop one more time. But overall, it was exactly what it needed to be. He wasn't in the ring a whole lot. When he was, it was kind of okay. And of course, he had to bleed all over himself because it wouldn't be a Ric Flair match if he didn't bleed all over himself one final time. Honestly, I was impressed with Jeff Jarrett. I was like, why is Jeff Jarrett not wrestling more? He can still go. That was quite good. I was impressed with that JEFF, JARRETT. But I wanted him to do more of the slap nuts thing. Like he came out, he was like a complete dick heel, like he was in WCW. That was great. I know you're not a big Andrade guy, Josh. I like Andrade. I thought that he did a nice job in that match. Jay Lethal was okay in that match. So the match was what it was. I hope that this truly, truly is the end for Ric Flair, because I could see him 2 years from now going, I got to do it one more time, brother, because he just can't get that out of his, just get that out of his system. So I know, Josh. Yeah, patting yourself on the shoulders, getting ready to go. So I truly, truly hope that this was the end. Ric Flair got his final send off, and then off we go. Seeing the big gold belt was cool. I thought that was really neat. So this spectacle was what it needed to be. We got it all the way. Homage to the greatest. Now let's go off into the sunset and move on.
I do have one critique from the show that I have to say. I know they were shuffling in and out other announcers from the other promotions because it came off really obvious on the screen. Like, I get it. David Crockett's like, I don't know, 75 years old or whatever now these days, but like he couldn't give two shits about the stuff that was going on in the program. I'm hearing like Joe Dombrowski go over the storylines for MLW, right? When the MLW guys in there, and he's like, oh, okay. Right. Or passively aggressively saying, "Oh, you're welcome," because it's a whole Jim Crockett promotion. Is like, I'm not saying David Crockett's a bad guy or anything, but he's like underselling all the other promotions that are there. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, I agree with what you said. I really hope that it is Ric Flair's last match. The only reason I was doing that because that's what he does all the time.
Oh, I know. That's the show. Yeah.
I did get to watch the Ric Flair roast. I found it online. I got to watch it before SummerSlam. It was pretty funny. Some good stuff, some stuff that looked like that Bret Hart just gave like some.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm happy for Rick that he has moment. The promo came off pretty good. Just the way you wanted to have a stand-up like that. So I thought that was a good sign that he got through and he wasn't like he couldn't talk or whatever. You could see the emotion overcome him. So I thought that was pretty cool. Bret Hart, Taker, Clout Chaser, Foley, and everybody was there in the front row. So that's pretty cool. And then I enjoyed the event. I thought it was a nice celebration of wrestling with the backdrop of Ric Flair's last match. Of course, they have to show Aaron Rodgers give a shout out to Ric Flair.
I figured you weren't going to be too happy about that one.
No, I was not happy about that one bit. But nonetheless, that was an interesting experience, if you will. All right, let's look at the next question here. He said, if Zoe Starks loses to Mandy Rose at NXT Heatwave, which is not a takeover show, it's actually a USA special coming up, I think, a week from this Tuesday. It's August 16th, so that's when that show is going.
A week from Sunday.
No,
a week from Tuesday. 2 weeks from yesterday.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So he says, do you think she gets a call up? If so, which would be the better option? Joining Bailey, Kai, and Sky, or teaming with Sonya or solo run? Well, Zoe Stark's been a babyface the entire time in NXT. I just don't see how her dynamics work with her and Zoe Deville. If anything, I think Zoe Stark is fine as she is as a singles performer. And I don't think right now it's the time for her to come up to Raw or SmackDown. She still needs to get her own footing on her own way in NXT. So I would say, hey, I would not be surprised if Zoe takes the title off of Mandy Rose. I would not be surprised. I think that'd be pretty cool. But as far as her doing stuff on Raw or SmackDown, not yet. Not yet.
Well, because a performer like her, you want to be able to feature her a little bit. And then, if you bring her up, where is she going to be on the card? Like the Raw division, now that they've added Dakota Kai, Bailey, and Io Sky, you've got them along with Asuka and Alexa Bliss and Bianca. I know Becky's out for a while. We don't know what's going to happen with Tamina or Dana Brooke. Once, we haven't seen anything what's going on with them. So the women's division is getting pretty stacked over there. And on SmackDown, you've got Ronda Rousey. We assume Charlotte's going to come back. Liv Morgan.
Raquel Rodriguez,
Shotzi, Lacey Evans, Aaliyah. I mean, it's pretty stacked on both sides. So, again, do you want her to just get lost in the shuffle? Sonya Deville, do you want him to just get? We've heard rumblings. Our two favorites might be coming back soon. They're going to do it, Josh. If they can get a deal worked out, they're going to do it.
This sucks because I like Naomi, but
I know.
I got problems.
I know, but they're coming back. So
yeah,
that's why I don't want any NXT call-ups to get rushed because then they just get lost in the shuffle, and we are like, oh, WWE wasted. No, and it's a new era, and I understand that. I think Triple H will be a little bit more careful about bringing folks up and making sure they get time. Go ahead.
I'm glad you brought up Triple H because that's the lead into the next question. We got a question on Facebook from my good friend Brett Shrubsel.
Brett?
He says, what do you think of Triple H as head of creative? I'll let you take this one, Brother Carter.
I love it. I've been excited. As soon as we reported that on WrestlingRumors.net, by the way, follow us at WrestlingRumors.net. As soon as we reported this, I was like, oh man, this is what needs to happen. I think that there's going to be, and there already is, a renewed sense of optimism. And, man, we're finally getting, wrestling fans on the WWE side are really getting excited about the product again. And I'm one of them. And look at SummerSlam and Raw. I thought this week's episode of Raw was one of the best episodes of Raw we've seen in the last 6 months to a year. It was a tremendous episode of Raw with great wrestling. Because wrestling is what we do in WWE. We put on wrestling matches that tell stories. Oh my God, what a concept. So great wrestling, a fresh revival of talent, getting to see like Mustafa Ali. And we'll get into this more when we talk about this week in WWE. But I'm really excited about it, Josh. I know that the wrestlers are really excited about it too. I think having Triple H in charge might entice some former folks that got released that I felt shouldn't have been released to come back. Look at Dakota Kai. I'm thinking someone like Johnny Gargano, those folks to potentially come back. So I'm really excited about it. I think there's just going to be a renewed sense in professional wrestling. And I think AEW is shaking in their boots right now. I think that they realize they're in trouble. So, you look at the crap they're putting out and then you see what WWE might be putting out, and AEW is in trouble. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see what happens in the next little bit. We'll get a little bit more of a taste of what happens on SmackDown this past week, or this coming week, tomorrow night.
Yes. I want to thank Chris and Brett for those questions. Next one, we got questions this week from Patrick Fritz.
Oh boy, rated PWF. Wow.
Make sure to follow Pat. He's a good brother of all good brothers. Make sure to support him on the Twitter machine, if you will.
Indeed. Incredible Bane impressionator too. So get him to do his impression of Bane. It's very good.
We gotta get Pat on the show sometime soon.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
All right, let's see what we got here. He says, first impressions of week one of the Triple H era. Do you think in a year's time a lot will change? I'll take this one so you kind of just talked about it. For me, I'm not really. Maybe it's just me, and I put this out on Monday before Raw started. But like for me, I'm not. I could have fun like observing these people get themselves tied up in knots mentally and on social media over what's a Triple H idea or what isn't a Triple H idea as the whole thing goes,
Right.
this whole process. Like for me, again, like you, I share a lot of optimism in the same sentiments that you have about what he can bring to the table and stuff like that. But I also think there has to be a realistic aspect that goes into this process that things are not going to change overnight. And also, just because you got the benefit of the doubt in that NXT was a knockoff Ring of Honor show doesn't mean you're going to get all those same elements in WWE. As much as Vince McMahon is gone and it's all the retirement stuff is legitimate and all that, there are concepts from Vince McMahon that were used in NXT where you want to acknowledge that or not. It may not have been crystal clear right in front of your eyes, but as somebody who has covered this industry definitely for the last 9 to 10 years with constant transfers and stuff, as much Triple H has his unique style and all that, and I'm a fan of Triple H. I tell all the time, NXT UK is one of my favorite shows. That's the Triple H creation. I want things to be good for WWE, but I will say that some concepts from Vince McMahon will not go away, nor do I think it should go away because whether you think he's been out of touch for the last 10 years doesn't change the fact that they're making more money now than they did during what was their more popular time storyline or booking wise. And again, I'm one of the few people on here on Wrestling Media who can watch a wrestling show and not give two shits about who won or lost or the booking. That I'm not that wrestling fan. I'm just not. I don't care about that. That's not what I look into. So again, like it's hard for me, Pat, and everybody to like. I can't say, oh my god, this is a clear signal of things gonna happen. I want to see what happens.
Of course.
I'm not gonna say, oh, let the whole thing play out, but there's nothing to really base on. There's no precedent to say this is Triple H, stuff like that. It's been 1 week. SummerSlam was a lot of fun. I will get to Raw in a couple minutes too. I thought that was a pretty good show. But for me, I'd just like to remind everybody that if you're going to get yourself tied up in knots mentally on social media over all this booking stuff, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. And I would like to challenge some people to actually watch a wrestling show without thinking about booking. I know it's a crazy idea to think about it, but it is possible.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Josh. And I forgot to mention this earlier. Now, is there optimism and stuff with Triple H? Absolutely, as there should be. But with anything that's new, there's optimism. Think about anytime you make a new major purchase, like whether it's a new car or a new computer or a new whatever. You're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. I can't wait. And then after a little while, it becomes routine, right? And Triple H, listen, there's a long ways to go with Triple H to see what he can do long term. So I definitely agree with you on that. I'm not saying that like, okay, it's an instant fix, like it's over, but there's definitely some optimism there. And then I know it's hard, Josh, and we've said this before too. You're talking about criticizing the booking, criticizing the performers or whatever. I've said this before. Wrestling fans are the most fickle fans of any sport. They're fickle. Like they are. They will turn. I've seen graphics that are so true. It's like your favorite performer won. How could they book them like that? Your favorite performer lost. How could they book them like that? Oh my God. It's just like, are wrestling fans ever happy? It's just like I think what makes it different too, Josh, is this is a predetermined sport. Like it's acting. It's in the major sports, the score is the score. So it's if your favorite team gets upset or the favorite gets upset, then you can criticize because you're like, there it is, you lost. But this is because this is predetermined, and this is, opera, this is ballet, this is, this is acting. It's just like, so I feel that wrestling fans, and we've talked about this before too, just are sometimes they're just, they don't know what they want, but they're the most vocal about it, which doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see how it all plays out, but I am excited.
Yes, sir. Next question from Pat. He says, thoughts about the NFL season coming up soon?
Well, are we even going to have oh my God, are we even going to have a season? It seems like all we can talk about right now is stuff that's happening off the field, even though training camp has started right now. And it's just like,
hey, there's a game tonight.
There is a game tonight.
How about this? We got Tony Khan's Jacksonville Jaguars against our guy Adam Daly's Oakland Raiders.
I forgot that preseason football was tonight. I completely forgot. Wow, the preseason is tonight. Yes. Okay, what channel is that streaming on?
I think it's on ESPN tonight.
ESPN? Okay, sweet. Yes,
or NBC. That's usually probably the show they usually do.
It's a streaming option. Okay, I'll find it. But anyways, yeah. Well, I bet. Well, it says they're streaming it on NFL, so it could be. But anyways, preseason football is like tonight. So I think I'm excited for the season. I know there's been a lot of off the field stuff right now that's been kind of clouding everything, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Honestly, with the Jets, they had a really good draft, and there's a lot of excitement with the Jets. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, the Bucks, they've reloaded in getting some new talent. So they got Leonard. Who is their big guy they just signed? Julio Jones they signed?
Oh, the Bucks, yeah.
Julio Jones. They signed Julio Jones. So, it worked last year. So, are they going to just? So we'll see. I'm excited about the NFL season, man. I just hope that this off the field stuff can go away soon, so we can just get down to X's and O's.
I'm pretty sure we'll do like a big NFL preview segment on the show once we get closer to the season. So we'll do that. But for me, I'm just excited because outside of WrestleMania season, this is my favorite part of the year. Just for my entertainment, I'm a big NFL fan. That's probably my favorite sport that I watch. I'm a big NFL junkie, brother Carter, and
I know.
I have a lot of thoughts, and I put it out a little bit this morning on Twitter. I think a lot of people are overrated the San Francisco 49ers. As much as Kyle Shanahan may be an offensive genius, I like to actually see some titles come out of it instead of being told this is going to happen. And for a guy that started 2 games, everybody saying Trey Lance is going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. I need to see it. I mean, we can crowd all these people, the Jets are going to have a great season because Zach Wilson banged his friend's mom. Like, let me see this first, okay? I am intrigued by the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
How that goes down. Rams, they're kind of using the Yankee philosophy of let's bring everybody in. Let's bring Allen Robinson. Let's bring in Bobby Wagner and everybody else and their mother to the team. Let's see how that works out.
Hey, they won a chip last year, so whatever they were doing, it worked.
Beat the man. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo!
By the way, that side note, after that, I don't know if you remember seeing that Matthew Stafford AT&T commercial where he's like, so you do something for 12 years and then that was genius. If you haven't seen that commercial, it's genius.
It's fantastic.
No, it's gonna be good. Let's see what Tony Khan can do. Josh, I kind of hope the Jaguars get pummeled. Like, I think that would just be so funny.
Doug Peterson as head coach this year. See how that works out.
I mean, he's a good coach. He's won a Super Bowl, so we'll see. We'll see. I know you're not going to like this, Josh, but watch out for the Eagles. I have a feeling the Eagles are going to be sneaky good this year.
Hey, there'll be a champion crowned at WrestleMania 40 before another championship arrives in Philadelphia.
No, that's true. That's true. That's very true. That's true. But I think they have a pretty easy path to the playoffs because all they have to do is survive the NFC least.
Yeah, I mean, every year the worst division in football. It's the ultimate participation trophy. That's what the NFC East is.
And besides the Eagles, I don't see how it's getting any better for the other three franchises. But I digress.
And I think there's gonna be some pettiness from some couple other teams, kind of like the Miami Dolphins with all the stuff they're dealing with.
God.
Let's see what's going on with the Cleveland Browns.
That's the one. God, I'm telling you, Josh, at the end of this, the NFL is going to look really, shocking. The NFL is going to look really bad at the end of this.
Well, just when you think Roger Goodell's gaining momentum, he makes him look like an ass.
He's like AEW. They have momentum, but they always find a way to screw it up.
That's a good one. All right, next question for Pat. The last one he said. That's a good question, Pat. I'm glad you asked that. Yeah. Get some football stuff down the road. By the way, if you guys are interested in doing a pick'em league this year for the Hoots podcast, we did it a couple years ago. I think it'd be fun to do it again this year if you guys would be interested. It's like a Yahoo confidence pool type of thing. If you guys want to do it,
hit us up. That'd be a ton of fun to do. For any of our listeners on any of our platforms, hit us up on social media. We would love to do a fantasy football league with anybody. That'd be fun.
All right. How about this one? Do you think WWE does better with pay-per-views on Saturday versus Sunday when it's one night?
I struggle with this one, Josh, because I don't, and maybe obviously people know some, it's one of those, somebody knows something we don't know. Yeah. But the last two pay-per-views on the Saturdays, I've got to say I didn't really like it. Just because of the fact that I'm a UFC fan and I like to watch UFC, and the last two pay-per-views were on the same time as major UFC pay-per-views. So I had to have, one on my TV, watching the pay-per-view or the premium live event rather. And then ESPN was on my iPad. So I made it work and it was fine, but I like to be able to focus completely on UFC on one night and then completely on WWE the other night. And to me, and maybe I'm just a traditionalist, Josh, but pay-per-views have usually been on Sunday nights. Like that's, Sunday night pay-per-view. That's something I look forward to at the end of my week to get ready for the following week. And maybe they couldn't do it because of Ric Flair's last match, or maybe they just needed a day in between to go to Raw. So I like if that's what they need to do, that's fine. If it was up to me personally as a fan, I love the Sunday evening pay-per-view, but that's just me. And I don't know if it's what the reason is for them going to Saturdays or if that's going to be something going forward. But I prefer the Sundays, but that's just me.
No, that's okay. And I think for me, I could do it either day, to be honest with you. Now I'm in a different state of mind. I'm not an MMA fan. Like, the only way you're gonna get me to watch MMA is if I'm with somebody. Let's say, like, if I was hanging out with you, brother Carter, and there was a UFC show going on, I'd probably watch it with you. But on my own accord, no shot. But for me, I think from a transfer point of view, I kind of enjoyed not having to do a Sunday pay-per-view, going into typing out the show all the way out to Monday morning, and then waking up, doing a New Japan show that morning, and then Raw the next night. These Saturday pay-per-views kind of helped me to get a chance to sleep in for once. So it's been kind of good in that sense. But I kind of stand from a traditionalist standpoint, like having it Sunday nights, like it always was in the Attitude Era. That's what it was. I don't think the particular day takes away from the pay-per-view itself, because these premium live events have still been a lot of fun. Everybody talks about, the build to this and the build to that. Can you tell me the last crappy pay-per-view that we sat through?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm looking ahead at all the rest of the events for 2022, and they're all on Saturdays. You've got
Classes of Castles
on a Saturday. I'm looking here. Extreme Rules is on October 8th, which is a Saturday. Yep. Crown Jewel on November 5th, which is a Saturday. Yep. Survivor Series on the 26th, which is a Saturday. And then day one, of course, they're just doing that on New Year's Day, so that doesn't really matter. That happens to be on a Sunday because that's just when it falls.
Yeah.
And then looking ahead, the Royal Rumble on the 28th is on the 28th, or is on the 28th, which is a Sunday. So
did they announce where
or Saturday? It says on a Saturday, excuse me. So yeah, it looks like they're switching to Saturdays for their pay-per-views.
Did they announce where the Rumble's going to be next year?
It looked like it was San Antonio. Let me look. Excuse me. Yeah, it's at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio.
Oh,
that's been rumored. It hasn't been confirmed yet.
I'm not even getting my hopes up. I already know what's going to happen if they brought a Rumble here. They do the countdown and everybody's just waiting for CM Punk. It's just a bad thing waiting to happen. Like, yeah, probably a bad idea.
You'd love to have a Rumble, Josh, but you also understand WWE's business practices. Let's face it. They think AEW thinks that Chicago is their town. You know, it's their
well, it is their time.
So. Well, and the other thing too, Josh, that makes it tough for me is I'm a college football person as well. And so Saturdays, I'm usually watching college football, especially the evening game. So, because they usually have a big primetime game on Saturday night. So maybe they just want an additional day of travel in between their premium live event and their Raw just to kind of get everything reset. So I don't know. But then but on the other end, you know, you've only got one day between SmackDown and the pay-per-view. So it's so hard to say.
Maybe it's a good tie-in with their TV partners with Peacock, where like, yeah, you got nice deal, and you got Peacock the next night. That could be another reason that's not been reported out there. Maybe that's the reason why. But
you know what? But you're right, because they use NBC usually has the Sunday Night Football game, so you can't. Okay, yeah.
I mean, if you don't want Survivor Series going against like whatever game is going to be that particular week, you know, there was always arguments. Oh, why are you having a TLC pay-per-view going out there in a big like football game deciding like records? Like, let's say Pittsburgh and Baltimore, for example, it would be the Sunday Night Football game.
Especially later in the season, while we get into November and December, and you're into like, you know, week 13 and week 14, and all the games matter.
Right. That's great questions this week, Pat.
Yep.
Some good stuff, buddy. We got a couple more to wrap up this segment this week. We go to our good friend Mike Rubio, who sent us 5 questions this week. So make sure to follow Mike on Twitter at Main Event Swerve. We did talk about the trade deadline, so we got that out of the way. How about this? What was the crazier bump? Roman Reigns lifted from the ring, or John Cone, the referee, when Big Show and Mark Henry broke the ring at Vengeance 2011?
I'll say John Cone, just because that was more of a shock value kind of thing. Like, he didn't even know what to do. So he did. That was crazy. That Roman bump was great, though. But I'm going to say John Cone just because of the shock value.
Yeah. I'm going to go John Cone, too. Like, you guys remember the viral memes of Randy Orton RKOing people, like, out of space? That's John Cone flying out of the ring. So that'd be my pick. But still, it's a great visual. Like, Brock Lesnar tipped the ring over for a clip. Oh my God. There's other parts of that match we're going to get to in a couple minutes, but all right. Will SummerSlam rank as an all-time one, or was it just really good?
I think it's just really good. You know, I wouldn't necessarily put it as an all-time great, because, you know, when I think of all-time greats, you got to think of full card top to bottom. And it was a good card. Don't get me wrong, and we'll get into it in a little bit. But I think it was just going to say, man, that was a really great SummerSlam. But I wouldn't necessarily put it as one of the all-time greats. But you never know. You know, the people and history will determine that.
As an event, probably not all-time great, but as far as SummerSlam main events, I'll put it.
Yeah. For sure.
Great. That'd be my pick there. Oh my God. I wasn't expecting this one. Io Sky, underrated waterfall. Also, what do you think of Control and the potential for this group? Now this is like more of like a dirt sheet innuendo, like rumor thing about their name being the Control. Is that what he's like referred to? Is that
I don't know. That's the Control. That's the first I've heard of that. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not a bad thing, I guess. I mean, we did go through the core, So you can only go off.
What was it? Was it Team PBC or what was it? Team
PCB, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was Team PCB too. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love how you do that. It's hilarious.
The Riot Squad. Hey, we have the Riot Squad too, and look how well that worked out for baby Soho. Man, she's doing great things, pal.
Yeah. But by the way, to answer your first question, Mike, underrated waterfall, yes.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I could employ the Lorenzo von Matterhorn for that situation. But as far as this group is concerned, I think the sky's the limit for them and what they want to do with it.
Good punch.
If you want to,
sky is the limit. Good job.
Yes. If you want to use this group as a female shield, you could probably do it if you want to.
Sure.
I'm just scared to see where it goes for me. It really, I'm really happy for Dakota Kai that she's back and that she's not going to be dwindling on Dark and Elevation or struggling to get time on Impact. Like I'm happy that she got back and she got her job back. So I thought that was really cool. But honestly, anything's up in the table for me when it comes to this group, Red Carter. Like I'm not going to put a ceiling over it. Like whatever they want to do with it, I think it could work out.
Yep. I agree with you. Can't wait.
Yes. All right. The last question of the pod this week. I think you guys are right about maximum male models. By the way, I gotta say that ad during SummerSlam, the Pure Life was awesome.
It was so funny. Oh my god, it was great.
Sophia Cromwell, elite waterfall category. Let's just throw that out there. Yes,
absolutely. Yes.
Tantalizing. Oh my god.
Mase and Mansois.
Yes, Mase and Mansois. Well, also don't forget they had the Summer Beach collection on SmackDown. That's Friday too.
I can't wait. I think it's hilarious. Of course, the Twitter machine is like, "Oh my god, Triple H, get rid of this immediately." I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, we had to see how this grows. His question though for this is that will they debut in the ring, and how can you see that happening? I guess maybe down the road. I'd think kind of similar to when Breezango was in NXT. I think it's very important to have the right people in the ring with them. Like I do recall being at Backlash in 2017 when they're here in Chicago. They had Breezango against the Usos, which was one of the funniest tag team title matches. If you ever see, it's the one where Breeze came out with the mop and they're dressed like old ladies and
I don't
they
remember
were switching outfits during the match. It's out there. It's one of the underrated gems of the last 5-6 years. It's a funny match. When you look at this group, are they going to win tag team titles? Probably not. Can I see something that can help Springboy Max Dupree? Maybe. But I just think for me, Brett Carr, I want to get your thoughts on this. But I think having the right people in the ring with them is probably the most important thing.
Yeah. Well,
matches.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just trying to figure out who would you put with them, because it's and we'll talk about this when we get into SummerSlam and into Raw this week. But you're thinking about tag teams, besides the Usos, who's left? They've taken care of the Street Profits. They've taken care of the Mysterios. Maybe Maximum Male Models can work with the Usos, but that just seems mismatched as well. So it's and we'll talk about this too. I usually don't like to talk about booking, but WWE may have backed themselves into a corner here. So we'll just have to see what they're going to do to get out of it. But we'll see. But I'm intrigued. Listen, why not? Give them a shot against the Usos. Let's see what they can do.
Right. Man, got some breaking news.
Okay.
Tonight at, 6:00 Central.
Okay.
A brand new edition of AEW Dark Elevation. A second one this week. I'm not even gonna mention this in what else AW, so we can just mention this right now. So we have what did we say? Tony Nese and Josh Woods against Dean Alexander and Damian Chambers. Who?
Who?
Mance Warner against Serpentico, and then Hikaru Shida. Oh my god, Hikaru Shida against Emi Sakura.
Against who?
Emi Sakura.
I don't know who that is.
Freddie Mercury chick.
Okay.
We will chop you.
Oh,
that girl, yeah.
Oh my god.
This is what I have to deal with. Hey, I appreciate the $40 this week, so an extra. It's not gonna kill me, but why are we doing this? This is oh my god.
So is this AEW's what, fifth? Is this gonna be their fifth show this week?
6. You got it was Elevation on Monday.
Yeah.
Dark on Tuesday. Mud Show last night. Elevation tonight. Rampage tomorrow. That's 5. Battle of the Belts.
Saturday, right. 6 AEW shows this week.
Plus a dark taping before, probably after on Rampage on Friday, considering Grand Rapids, Michigan on Friday. God, who the hell wants to spend time in Michigan? Anyways.
Hey, I've been to Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is actually a cool town. I don't mind Grand Rapids. It's a cool town. I've been there.
I'll take your word for it then.
It's nice. I like Grand Rapids. I've been there. It's nice.
As long as we're away from University of Michigan at Detroit, then we're good. But really, did we really need another Elevation, Brother Carter?
No, we don't need one. Well, they have 2 dark shows. Like what?
All right. On that note, folks, that's the conclusion of this week's edition,
Great,
the first edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. Yes.
Thank you for the questions, everybody. Be sure to keep sending those in. We would love to hear your thoughts, and we'd love to be able to just hear what you want to talk about.
Absolutely. And I like the new name for the segment. It's
Back Porch Q&A. I like it too. Yeah, I like it.
All right. Time for this week in WWE, coming off the heels of WWE SummerSlam at Nissan Stadium, not Nissan Arena, Jimmy Smith. I did caught that in the beginning of the show. Brooke Carter, you brought something up interesting to me when we were talking about Facebook. You said that you started to notice what I was mentioning last week about Corey, right? You like
I did.
On that?
Yeah. So I think we talked about this last week, and we've been, texting about this as we were, as we watched the shows. You'd mentioned it seems like Corey Graves is like really going over the top to try to be like the heel commentator. They're really trying to give it to Saxton, and it's like now it's getting to the point where like, okay, dude, we get it. You're supposed to be, but now he's saying things that just don't make any sense. And he's just like trying to say, and I can't think of examples. I'd have to, go back and watch a show, but now it just seems like everything he says, it just makes absolutely, it's just, I got to be the heel commentator for the sake of being the heel commentator. It's like, they don't do that on SmackDown, and it works just fine. Cole and McAfee just do their thing, and it works out really, really, really well. So, but no, now that you said that, Josh, I'm like, okay, Graves, we get it. Like it's unfortunate too, because he's, he was on fire as a commentator in NXT. And when he finally got up to the main roster, he was terrific, but now he's just trying too hard to be the heel, and he's got to cool down. He's got to be just his more natural self, I think.
Yeah. Well, and then also he had this line that worked, I guess, describing what Cody Rhodes went through, descended from hell and blah, 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 blah. And now he's like trying to add like these anecdotes, another big word there, anecdotes attaching to these wrestlers now. And it's like, it's not clicky, man. Like I don't know if Bucky Beaver Boy Kevin Dunn is trying to feed that into his ear, because I know he's still there. We're not wrestling. We're not wrestling. That was the Kevin Dunn impression I was doing last week. Yes. But like, it's trying too hard, and again, like I said last week, I just get too much of a JBL vibe from him. Like I like to hear Jimmy Smith actually call a wrestling match without him having to cut him off every 5 to 10 seconds. So, but anyways, we had a lot of fun with SummerSlam, man. I do want to give like props to Bianca and Becky Lynch because that was a fantastic match. And it's one thing to call yourself the standard, the blueprint, and yada yada yada, and then there's actually doing the work.
Right.
And right now, Bianca Belair is the standard, the blueprint, in all that you want to attach to women's wrestling. She's that. Like she did. I love the spot towards the end of the match. They did. They're on the top rope. Becky's trying to do that like manhandle slam off the middle rope. I call it Uranagi. I just think it looks weird when I type out manhandle slam in the article. but this is me a little behind the fourth wall of the transcripts. But going for that move, but they countered for the avalanche Spanish fly off.
Yeah, that was cool. I remember that. That was great.
And then the KOD after that. I just thought it was a nice out to the match. And Becky Lynch is now a baby face.
I think that now that they knew they were bringing back Bailey and Dakota Kai and Io Sky as heels, I kind of like this whole kick-ass, Becky Lynch. And I know she's going to be away for a few months. Unfortunately, she got a separated shoulder, and we wish her all the best and hope that she's back really soon. But I loved the kick-ass Becky Lynch where she's just like, I'm the man. I'm going to whoop your ass.
Right.
I loved it. And I think that's where Becky Lynch shines the most. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when she comes. I assume she'll come back as a face. I hope that they save her for the Royal Rumble. I think, just keep her off for TV for a few months. If they need to bring her back for Survivor Series, they could. But I kind of think that if they can hold off until the Royal Rumble, that'd be a great way for her to make a return. You think about her making a return, Cody Rhodes coming back. Yeah. That could be a really special Royal Rumble.
Absolutely. A lot of money on the table, too. Who knows how long this Ronda Rousey suspension is going to be? Still, a lot of people have been trying to pencil in her and Becky as a singles match for WrestleMania next year. I do have to say this is off related to SummerSlam, but I know they're advertising like tickets and stuff for WrestleMania during the show, right? They're doing those commercials. I looked into the on location thing, guys. Like. As somebody who bought a travel package last year, what they're charging is not worth what comes with it. And I just like to say, I know it's a conjunction deal that they have with WWE, yeah, but still, it's just I don't know. The amount they're charging people for this WrestleMania in LA, and I get it, it's SoFi Stadium and all that, but it's like you're like almost like crippling people just to pay for these shows. And it's like, yeah, I get it. You, for whatever reason, they had this WrestleMania for a WrestleManias in one city, and then all the other events are in a different city. Like this all started at 35 with New York, where they had all the stuff in Brooklyn and everything, and then they would do the main show in New Jersey for East Rutherford. And I get it. It's all about the money, and he gets a good revenue off of it. But I don't know, man. I'm looking at the on location stuff. Like, how can people even afford this? Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to go to this WrestleMania. I really would. I love to check out this stadium that everybody keeps marking out for. Like, it was nice visually to check it out during the Super Bowl this past year. But is it worth? Like, I saw some of these, honestly, Brent Carter and everybody that's watching and listening to this, like, you saw some of the price for these packages that go up to like $8,000 to $9,000 for ringside seats, and like, is it really worth that much money? I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting that they're trying to charge people that much money for the shows for WrestleMania. I could look this up here as a way for Brett Carter to come back here. Let me look up this location. I could look at this right now. Honestly, if you ask me, the only way I get to WrestleMania right now, as I talk to you here on August 4th, 2022, is if I got picked up by a network or something and they send me out to LA to cover the event. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford this stuff. And I get the inclusive packages featured hotels and stuff like that. Let's see here. See, do we got brother card back yet? Nope. So this is the tiers here. Bronze levels. So you get 200, 400 level seats. Each part of the packages get you get a lanyard. That's what they're called. So you get one of these.
Right.
So this is the credential for it. So I'm looking at this. The cheapest one, bronze, starts at $455.
Jeez.
1,000.
What does that include?
So you get your hotel, round trip transportation. Let me look more into detail here. Both tickets for WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday, so both seats. Doesn't say anything for Raw or SmackDown, I believe, which is I think it's kind of odd. But yeah, that's just an example there. And then they got other tier prices for like the highest level here. I see champion price is $7,000.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, what is that for two people or
one person?
$7,000 for one person?
Yeah, it's wild. I was telling everybody, like, the only way you're gonna see me out there is if I got like a chance to be in the press box or something, or like if I'm being paid to go cover the show. Like, think about it. Will you have to pay for flights to go out to California and hotels out there? And that's the thing. Like, you're having all these shows by the Staples Center. My bad, crypto.com arena. You're having it there, and then you gotta go all the way out to Inglewood for Mania at SoFi. It's a lot of money, but I don't know. I have to figure something out if I can make it out there. But $7,000 for a WrestleMania package, that's not right.
Well, and then you look at, and that's the champion package. I'm looking at the elite package. One for worse, they got to change that name.
Yes.
that's I wouldn't pay $20 for that, but like they don't even give a price. It just says connect with our team. So you're looking at least 10 grand.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Okay. Well,
Go back to SummerSlam. What's some stuff that we did not get a chance to talk about that you wanted to mention here?
So I wanted to mention, yeah. So in just kind of looking at this, we've talked about Logan Paul. I mean, what an incredible. He has earned a spot on the roster, I think. You know, no doubt about that. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Surprised a lot of people, I think. So I thought that was great for him. Let's see. Bobby Lashley against Theory. That was fine. That was what it needed to be. It was what it was. Cool to see Edge back. I know we all kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fine. I thought that the Pat McAfee Baron Corbin match was good. I enjoyed it. It didn't quite seem to have the chemistry that McAfee did with, say, Austin Theory or with Adam Cole, which I was kind of surprised about. Because I know listen, we love Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee is, he's incredible. I hope he gets a singles title run at some point, but it just didn't quite seem to have that same chemistry that he did with, say, Theory. Or it was still good. I still enjoyed it, but I don't know. It just wasn't. If we're gonna be fair, as we are in the show, Josh, it wasn't. I guess I wasn't disappointed, but I was just kind of like, oh,
well,
okay.
Well, also you got to look at the circumstances. Nobody's expecting this match of Corbin and Pat to be Steamboat and Savage.
Well, no, but
it was a fight. It was not supposed to be a finesse wrestling match.
Yeah.
There was a couple spots for him that I was kind of nervous for him when he was trying to go for the springboard swanton bomb.
Yeah.
But
I will say
the other thing that he did need to do was the Panama Sunrise, which was the sunset flip he was doing towards the end of the match. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, part of me, if Corbin had been a little bit further away and he actually was able to do the Panama Sunrise correctly, that I thought would have been hilarious because that would have been a big fuck you to Adam Cole, which would have been outstanding. That would have been great if they could have pulled that off. But I think Corbin wasn't in a good position to be able to execute that move. So you just got to watch for that. So, anyways, that was what it was. Usos and Street Profits, another great match. That was great.
What about Ronda Rousey going rogue on the referees?
That was interesting. I was surprised at that too. And I remember going in thinking, like, how is Liv Morgan going to be able to hang with Ronda Rousey, and how are they going to get out of this? Yep. And obviously they got out of it. So I don't know if they're gonna bring Ronda Rousey back for Clash at the Castle. I don't know. But I thought that was a good match. Nice to see Liv Morgan going up there against top tier Ronda Rousey. And then, of course, the main event was just so fun. That was awesome.
I'd like to advise everybody to watch, everybody in AEW to watch how Paul Heyman sold the F5 through the announce table. That's how you actually are supposed to sell.
Yes.
Unlike Sting, who could go through a table and gets back on his feet 2 seconds later.
By the way, did you ever think that the announce team would be concerned for Brock Lesnar? That's how good Roman Reigns is. The announce team was concerned for Brock Lesnar. Like, okay, we get it. Stop. You're going to kill the guy. Like, that's some pretty great storytelling right there.
Well, it was a good night for Michael Cole. He was getting a lot of pub on social media, and a lot of people were liking his commentary on the show. I thought that was fine. I kind of wish Pat actually came back to call that match, but
yeah, because him and Graves, it wasn't really. Again, there's another thing where Graves was being over the top, like, "Oh, come on, Cole, what are you doing? Come on, Cole, what are you doing?" Like like during the McAfee match, it was the McAfee Corbin match. Like, I get that Graves and Corbin are friends or whatever, fine, but. Yeah. I don't know.
Give him the crotch chop was pretty funny.
No, but overall, Josh, I loved SummerSlam. I thought this was a terrific pay-per-view card, top to bottom. Well done to everybody involved. Really great stuff.
Then we go into Monday Night Raw in Houston. Have you been to Houston before?
I have been to Houston many times. Yes.
How is it compared to the other Texas cities you've been to?
Sorry, Mike. I'm not a big fan of Houston just because, I mean, this, like, the traffic in Houston is so bad. Like, it's bad. Like, it's really, really bad. And trying to get anywhere in Houston is just almost impossible with the traffic. Now, the suburbs are very nice. Like, all the, excuse me, all the surrounding communities of Houston that make up, Houston Metroplex are very nice. Like places like the Woodlands and Conroe and those kinds of places. Those are all very nice. I like those places. But Houston itself, man, it's hard to get around and hard to do anything.
So like downtown is a cesspool.
Downtown's fine-ish. It's a typical downtown.
It's mid.
It's mid. Downtown Houston is mid. It's your typical downtown. It's fine. It is what it is.
If they did WrestleMania, they brought it to Houston. That'd be at the Reliant Stadium, right?
Yeah, they put it at Reliant Stadium where the Texans play. Yeah, but if you're gonna do it in Texas, you got to do it at Jerry World, just because that's an incredible stadium, man.
There was.
It's an incredible stadium.
I hear a lot of things in life, and I hear things about hype, and I don't usually biased eye, but a lot of times I like to see it for myself and make it. Honestly, that is probably the coolest venue I ever been to in my entire life. Just the look of it, just going up to it, it's just it's fun. I've never been in a building that big before. It's just wild.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That stadium is awesome. It's awesome.
Even though the team is absolutely sucks ass, but
correct. And they're going to be a disaster again this year, and I can't wait to see it. It's going to be terrific.
I'm sorry to my guy Blake Mitchell, my friend. He's a Cowboy fan, but it is what it is. All right, Raw. We had the Becky promo talking about her injury. I thought it was nice. Her and Bianca shared nice words. Becky tells Bianca to hold down the fort, and then nice write off for Becky off of television with the attack backstage. I thought that was good. You mentioned it earlier, the triple threat matches. This Raw was really emphasizing the mid-card division, kind of like I was talking about last week. We were talking about this last week as far as things that could see differently. The U.S. title video package, I thought was really good.
That was fantastic.
Both triple threat matches were very good and unique to their own ways. The a 450 to a Styles Clash, that was a pretty sweet spot.
That was great.
Seeing Dolph Ziggler in the ring with Chad Gable, I thought that was pretty cool. But also, Monday night was a big night for Tommaso Ciampa.
It was. That was awesome. And he's getting in. And of course, the big thing they're bringing up is he's getting his U.S. title shot in Cleveland, which is the Miz's hometown. So do they make the Miz turn on Ciampa and be like, that was supposed to be my spotlight in my hometown?
I can see that.
You do that, or does Miz help Ciampa win the U.S. title? And then
there's somebody else that's from Cleveland, Ohio, that may intertwine with this situation here.
The Dolph? No, who's from Cleveland?
Dolph is actually also from Cleveland, but no. There's a free agent out there that's from Cleveland, Ohio, a big Cleveland Browns fan, Mr. Johnny Gargano.
Ah, yes. Yes. I forgot. I didn't realize he was from Cleveland. Oh, that'd be great.
Every time I think about Cleveland, it reminds me because my first night doing articles was the night CM Punk quit WWE, and it was in that building in Cleveland where they're going to on Monday. So it's brings up bad memories, good and bad memories, actually. But the US thing I thought was really nice because you had some really good wrestling matches, and you got a reason to watch the US title match next week. Bobby Lashley and Tommaso Ciampa would be nice and stiff and rugged and all that fun stuff. I thought that was cool. Looking at the rest of the card. Again, you're sprinkling a lot of the things that are going on with this new women's faction, which I thought was probably an important thing they wanted to do to establish that. That's why they were on multiple times. Hey, you got a 3-hour window. You got to squeeze in what you can,
Hey, and listen, is anyone going to be upset about a six woman tag with Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa versus Bailey, Dakota, and Io Sky? Come on, that's going to be tremendous.
Yeah, think about when Asuka and Io gets in the ring.
That's going to be oh man, the crowd's going to go nuts. Now, do they need to do that on Raw, or do you think they can just have matches against each other and they can save it for Clash at the Castle?
Yeah, you could do a smorgasbord of things. Like you could have a tag match, you could do a singles match. One thing, I don't think they're gonna do it like AEW where you have faction members fighting each other every week in 6-man trios. The difference is with WWE, their referees are actually competent at their job and they could actually control a trios match. So let's see how that goes. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what else happened on the show.
Now, Josh, of course we're starting to get sprinklings too of the split between the Street Profits.
Yes.
Because of Montez Ford steals the opportunity to run in and have his match with Seth Rollins. Terrific match. I mean, which are we surprised? I mean, Rollins is of course great. Montez Ford, I think he's ready. Montez Ford is ready for, if they want to let him have a singles run. And a lot of people on Twitter said this, and I think this is a good idea. You can kind of do a New Day thing where you don't break up the Street Profits. You just let them have singles runs. Let them do some singles matches. If they want to still stay a duo when they need to, they can. I guess it would just depend on what the face to heel ratio would be, because you can keep the Street Profits as faces and then just have them do their own thing. Or if you want to have them face each other, that would be fine too. So,
well, here's another question I need to ask for everybody since we're talking about all this Triple H stuff, right? Is there a draft coming?
I don't know. Let's see. Let me do a quick little search on the Google machine.
Yes, is there any inside sources that could let us know when the draft is coming? Thursday is usually the day for these wrestling news, right?
Uh-huh. Okay, let's see. It says the draft is listed internally for September, but they haven't set a specific date yet.
I had a feeling it had to be coming up soon, right? So, hey, you can do a lot of things. Who knows? Maybe Dawkins goes to SmackDown. Who knows?
Oh well, I mean,
yeah.
Of course, the source is Seltzer, so I take everything. So as soon as I read that, I was like, okay, well then that's not real.
Yeah, the same source that said Seth Rollins was going to fight Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam,
right? And that Brock Lesnar wasn't coming back after he.
Yeah, and Io Shirai was leaving WWE.
But yet somehow he's the gold standard for reporting, pal.
Hey, good for them for making their money for shitty reporting. All right. I do agree with you said. I really enjoyed the Rollins and Ford match. I thought that was good.
Oh, by the way, Josh, I don't know if you know this. It is possible to go into picture-in-picture without announcing that you're going into picture-in-picture. I don't know if you unlike excrement every week who is like, and we're continuing in picture-in-picture. Just go to the break. We got it.
Maybe it's because of AEW, but I'm tired of picture-in-picture with all wrestling companies. Don't get me wrong, I do appreciate the opportunity where I can type out the full match instead of waiting for a commercial break. Don't get me wrong, but it's monotonous. Like some of these commercial breaks go for like 5 minutes. Like it's not radio. Like should I have 5-minute TV commercial breaks? Let's just say that. Bianca Belair and Io Sky, a very good match. No problem with the no contest decision there.
It's fine. I was gonna say tonight or this week's episode of Raw must be "I'm a piece of crap" night because Becky Lynch comes out, says I'm horrible, I found myself. Edge comes out and says I'm horrible, I found myself.
That was a good promo though.
That was good. I got back to the days of the NWO where he's like, I'm gonna kill my creation, I'm gonna kill the Judgment Day. I typed out, I'm going to inject the Judgment Day with a lethal dose of poison. So what we've learned here is Edge is bringing back the NWO.
Yes. That's funny.
Oh, man.
A lethal dose of poison.
Oh, God. So, yeah.
I remember that Vince promo like yesterday. They're doing all the black and white like symmetry in the back. That was funny. This is a trip. Yeah, but this is a good solid night wrestling match. That means Tommaso Ciampa and AJ Styles, and then the main event, the Usos and Mysterios. Folks, I don't know why people are like so like ragdolling Dominic Mysterio on social media. I don't get it.
Me neither.
I'm not saying like he's gonna be exactly like his father. It's hard shoes to fill, but golly, some people on social media make out this dude like he's like a geek and he can't wrestle, he can't do anything. It's like I don't get it.
Yeah, like no. Now, is he ready for the main event scene? Of course not. Like no, he's a long time before he's ready for even a singles, run. But he can go. Like he's getting better every week. I think they need to work on his character, no doubt about it. But he can go. I don't understand what the flack on Dominic Mysterio is either. It doesn't make sense.
And listen to the crowd. They got up when Dominic hit that frog slash. Now that I think the Usos are gonna lose, no, but you heard the crowd; they're buying into it.
Right. Now, I do want to talk about this, Josh. You mentioned the Usos. Where do the Usos go from here? Who can they take on next? Because it looks like they're done with the Street Profits.
Yep.
It looks like they're done with the Mysterios because Mysterios are going to be doing stuff with Judgment Day. So where do the Usos go next? You know,
Viking Raiders.
yeah, maybe New Day again if they need to do that. Yeah, I guess Viking Raiders would be the next viable option. You just gotta. That'll be tough too because, well, yeah, because I guess the Usos they're technically a SmackDown team because they're with our tribal chief, not the tribal chief, but our tribal chief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess yeah, you could do that. You could do that. That would be okay.
You can do that. You can have Nakamura and Ricochet as a tag team if you want to do it.
I kind of want to see I kind of want to see Nakamura as a single star again, though. You know,
Yeah.
because it looks like he's going to be still doing a program with Gunther.
Oh yes, Gunther.
Which that'll be fun.
That's a good transition point for our next part of the segment here because we got Clash of the Castle coming up
Yes.
On September 3rd. I'm really excited for this show. They said this is the first UK pay-per-view of this like stadium level show since SummerSlam '92.
Right, that's awesome.
And everybody knows that I'm a big NXT UK guy, and I really do hope that they have a chance to have NXT UK performers on that show, like Ilya Dragunov, who's fantastic. I put out having like Asuka against Miko Satomura would be really good. There's a lot of talented people on that roster. I think it'd be a damn shame if they don't have NXT UK performers on that show. Also, they should have Andy and Nigel, who's the commentary team on there, do some matches as well on the show. So, hey, if they're saving Nakamura and Gunther for the Cardiff show, I'm fine with that because Walter is like a big deal out in Europe.
Oh, he'll get a huge pop.
Gunther. I just love how he's still chopping. Like, leave the poor guy out. But honestly, like we got Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That's gonna be a barn burner. You're gonna get to do a lot more in a match with Drew McIntyre than you would Brock Lesnar. So that's gonna be your burner for your Dave Meltzer 5-star matches, right?
And I don't, Josh. To be completely honest, I don't know who wins that. That's not a gimme.
Yes,
that's not a Roman Reigns gimme.
It's not. I'm very excited for that match.
That's not a Roman Reigns gimme. Oof.
8 down. No, 8.
He tried to cash in that, or they teased the cash in. The only thing about the teasing the cash in that didn't work, I think, with that going back to SummerSlam, the ramp is so long. You know, it kind of, if it was a short ramp, I think it could have worked. But
it was pretty funny that Roman was whipping him and Brock with the briefcase.
Yeah.
So
do you think that Clash of the Castle will feature a lot of NXT UK matches?
You're having your stadium show for the UK. You have your NXT UK brand there. Why not showcase their performance there?
Right.
Like you could do. Okay, let's say you have. You have the Heritage Cup Championship, which is kind of like the mid card title in NXT UK. Now it's a different type of match. They have what's called British rounds matches, where it's kind of like boxing. You have 3-minute intervals.
Okay.
And the first person to 2 victories win the match. That's what it is. So let's say you have Noam Dar, who's the Heritage Cup champion, against trying to think of a baby face here that could work well with him, you know. Anyone pops on the top of your head?
Wait, Noam Dar's a baby face? Or no?
No, Noam Dar's a heel.
Is Mark Coffey a face?
No, Mark Coffey's he is a face, but no Dar. Somebody stooge off spoilers to me. I did not want to see it, but no Dar did get the title back for Coffey. But
okay.
But like, okay, let's say you have no Dar and Ricochet in a British rounds match. I think that'd be
awesome. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm just kind of I'm pulling up the NXT UK roster. Who is Ilya Dragunov feuding with right now?
Well, he just defended his title last week on NXT UK against Wolfgang, which was a very good match. Dragunov's a fantastic performer. I think there's some rumblings about a possible injury that he suffered. I hope that's not the case, but the big rivalry right now at NXT UK is Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. Please have that match on this show. They have history. Have these two on the show.
Well, I've gotten to see Tyler Bate and Trent Seven both wrestle. They're both fantastic. That would be a war.
An absolute bomb burner.
That'd be awesome.
Speaking of good waterfall and underrated performers, check out Blair Davenport, who's fantastic. Keep your eyes out for her. She is really good. But as far as NXT UK today, there's a couple matches. We have Oliver Kata. He's taking on Rohan Raja D Familia, which is their heel faction. Also, we have on the program Shaw Samuels against Bodie Hayward of Chase U University. Andre Chase's group from NXT made the trip out to the UK, so it's be cool to see them on the show. And then the main event today is Miko Satomura against Saray for the women's title. So that should be pretty good.
Awesome. So, yeah, looking forward to that. That'll be a nice show.
Yes, sir. Right. Now, folks, that's what happened this week in WWE. Really quick, before we get to our main event segment, it's going to be very brief and really quick.
Yes.
Update everybody what's going on right now with the G1 Climax tournament for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let you guys know what's going on with the standings.
Okay.
Right now, as I talked to you here on August 4th, we are 10 shows down. There's 8 more to go. This thing will wrap up on August 18th, which is 2 weeks from today. So I will be doing that that morning. So we may drop the show a little later on that day. We'll have to figure that out. But anyways, look at the standings here. For the A block, the leader right now is Okada at 6 points with a 3-0 record. Second place tie with Jeff Cobb and Bad Luck Fale with 4 points. And everybody else rounds out with 2 points. That is Jonah, Lance Archer, Filthy Tom Lawler, and the comedic Orange Cassidy of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Toriano.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Orange Cassidy. And I was like,
no, thank God he's not in this tournament. The B block leader right now is the current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jay White with 6 points. He's has a 3-0 record. Second place tie for 4 points is Sonata and Tamatanga with 4 points. Everybody else has 2 points. I was kind of, I wouldn't say pissed off, but kind of bummed out that my guy Ishii is in last place right now. It's like, he's one of the most popular guys they have. He puts on the best matches in the G1 every year. This guy can never make the finals. It's really, really frustrating. But C block, this is a very interesting block because this is more of their bigger mainstream guys in New Japan. Brother card for the C block. I got to tell you, last week, there's 28 wrestlers in the G1 this year, separated into 4 blocks of 7 competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Each competitor has 6 matches. Winner of those matches will fight each other in semifinals, A versus B, C versus D. Then you get to the finals, and then boom, you got your winner. So that's how it's going with the tournament. But right now, the C block leader is Hiroki Goto against Hiroki Goto and Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. have a 3-way tie for first place with 4 points. Evil, Aaron Henare, Tetsuya Naito, and Kenta all have 2 points as well. So very interesting block there. And then the D block, which I dubbed the Wild Wild West block, is leading by David Finlay, the son of Finlay. He has 6 points. And second place is Will Ospreay with 4 points. And El Phantasmo as well, who has 4 points. Coming up this weekend, there's 3 shows starting tomorrow morning. So it's going to be a busy weekend for me, New Japan-wise. Starting out on Friday, August 5th from Ame on the show. For the G1 matches, we got Juice Robinson against Yujiro Takahashi, Taichi against Chase Owens, Naito against Aaron Hinare, a big Haas match here. Jeff Cobb against Jonah, who's the former Bronson Reed in
nice.
NXT. So Hiroshi Tanahashi against Evil's the main event of tomorrow's show. So looking forward to that.
Now, Josh, I have
go ahead.
I have a question. So when they do this G1 tournament, are all the episodes, the weekly episodes of New Japan Pro Wrestling, just the G1 tournament, or do they do storylines at all?
No storylines, just G1 matches. There's preview tags and the undercard of the shows. There's no promos. Their storylines are coming off their backstage promos after the match is over. That's how they tell their stories. They don't do weekly TV like the other promotions. It's just like a full pay-per-view card, and then the storylines come for the post-match comments. So it's a little different system. Tony could talk about this again when you guys do another New Japan stuff, but it's very interesting how they go with their events. It's like a full-length pay-per-view. Most New Japan shows run for 2.5 or 3 hours, but these G1 shows have been at least 3 hours and a half each day for the last couple of weeks. So they're long shows, but it's worth it. Going back to Saturday here, this one will be in Osaka, Japan. We have El Phantasmo against Yoshihashi, Lance Archer, Toriano, Zack Sabre Jr. against Hiroki Goto, Jay White against the Great Okan, all hail. Will Ospreay against Shingo Takagi. Mm-hmm. Will Ospreay and Shingo, by the way, a very popular match that went down for the Best of Super Juniors a couple years ago. A classic match. Now getting to do it in the G1. This main event on Saturday is going to be a fucking barn burner.
Sweet.
Looking forward to that. The Saturday card is probably the best one of the weekend from what I see. And then the final matches you now mentioned for Sunday's show will be Evil. His character, he has all capital letters, EVIL. So you have to say what Evil, the leader of the House of Shit. Or House of Torch, whatever they want to call them. Evil against Hinare. Tom Lawler against Bad Luck Fale, MMA guy. Juice Robinson against El Phantasmo. Ishii against Chase Owens. And then the main event for the Sunday show, which I'm looking forward to, is Okada against Jonah for the first time. That should be an interesting match. So
cool.
Yep, that's your update for the G1. I think we got 2 more weeks left, Brother Carter, for the G1 to be over with. But yeah, your boy's been putting the grunt work for this tournament. And I honestly, again, I want to thank everybody who's been checking out the G1 transcripts that I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. It really means a lot to me. I've been going through some stuff recently, but it looks like I'm starting to get back on track with things with that whole situation. And it looks like we're going up from here. So I just want to say thank you guys for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, be sure to follow Josh's work on ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And for any wrestling folks that are out there, if you want to potentially get Josh to write for your site, definitely hit him up. The Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. He does great work, and I know that he'd be able to a valuable addition to your site. So there you go.
All right, Brick, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. This is my favorite part of the week, every single week. It's the main event show. It's what you've all been waiting for. It's the great Bruce Buffer. It's time for the flagship segment you're all waiting for. What the hell is wrong with AEW? And we're going to get this bad boy started in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? Oh, boy. Well, Josh, once again, it is time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW, aka What Isn't Wrong with AEW, as we do every week. I thought we would start by talking about some of the things we might have enjoyed from the show this week. They are few and far between, as they are every week. But I thought we would talk about, and I'll just talk about briefly some of the things that I enjoyed about this. So there's only a couple of things, Josh, that I really over the top enjoyed. There were some other things that I thought, okay, that's fine. The best part about the show this week for me, Josh, is seeing that Madison Rayne is back. That we get to see more of Madison Rayne on national television, because I've said for a long time, I think Madison Rayne is one of the most underappreciated and underrated stars, female stars in professional wrestling. Thought she did great work with the beautiful people in TNA. And now she's getting a chance to come back as a coach for AEW, which, God bless her, she's going to make her money, and it's not going to make a hint of difference in the world, because you could bring in, Trish and Lita and the GOAT Charlotte Flair to work with the AEW coach women. But if they don't get any TV time, what difference does it make? So
you could drag back Mae Young if you want.
Rip Mae Young. Well, they'd probably powerbomb her through a table, because that's what sells tickets, pal. So I thought that was good. It looks like they're setting up Ricky Starks to be one of their main guys, and I'm all about that. I love Ricky Starks. I think he's fantastic. I hope they don't screw that up. And then, Josh, apparently Tony Khan didn't watch SummerSlam, or he didn't sign off or approve this show, because the women's match was not before the main event this week. Oh my God, what a concept. And that's it. That's all I really liked about the show this week, Josh. None of the in-ring action was, it was all meh. What did you think about this? Did you enjoy anything about this week's show?
I have two things that may surprise you. One, I liked Jon Moxley's promo.
Oh.
I'll tell you why. Because he actually owned up to what he is. He doesn't care. He's probably going to bleed next week against Jericho. That's definitely going to happen.
Right.
And I like the promo because he's actually owned up to what he is. He's a outlaw, macho, overrated bastard. That's what he is. He doesn't care who wins. So he tells the audience he doesn't care who's going to win the main event. So why the fuck should we care who won the main event last night? So I like the promo because I appreciate his honesty. So I give credit where credit's due. So good on you, Jon Moxley. Also, I liked the dumpster match.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, why did you like the dumpster match, Josh?
One, because there's no blood. And it didn't.
Oh, true, yeah.
Blood. Secondly, I don't know about you, but I kind of like the Gun Club and how they carried themselves in the ring and stuff like that. I just thought it came off good, and I thought it was nice little babyface reactions for the Acclaim after they won the match, and how Caster did the mic drop off the entrance tunnel.
Yep.
I could have done without the whole shoving the dumpster off the stage after that. We get it. It's all from the Attitude Era. They did have the Outlaws. I get it. But I enjoyed the dumpster match. Now, I'm not going to say I loved it or I say it was a great match, but...
Well, they do that. Listen, WWE does those sorts of things all the time. And if they were going to do a dumpster match, because you have to have at least one gimmick match on AEW television every week.
Right.
Why would we just have a straight-up wrestling card on an AEW show? I mean, this next week, we've got the coffin at the Quake in the Lake, or the Rumble in the Jungle, or the Rage in the Cage, or the Penis in Uranus, or whatever they're going to call it. But
it's something my ass.
Yeah, right. Josh, the dumpster match, for what it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. It didn't really offend anybody. It didn't really, do anything. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. The dumpster match was fine.
But I will say, it's a good transition to the shit we saw. Again, did mentioning Vince McMahon get Max Caster more over?
No.
All right, let's start with the shit.
Okay, let's try to. Because Josh, what the hell is going on? Okay, so we open the show, and Josh, I have a question for you to open up this week's show. Has the TNT Championship ever meant less
No.
So Wardlow, who might be one of the hottest acts in professional wrestling, following his feud with MJF.
Who shall be not me mentioned?
Yeah, right, well, I'm sorry. He's like Voldemort. We shall not mention his name.
Yeah.
Now he's in a useless program with Jay Lethal. Like, do you care about this at all?
No.
Like, what has Wardlow done of any substance since beating MJF and winning the TNT championship? What has he done since then?
You don't want to talk about WWE watering down people. I never seen a guy suck more in the last 3 months than Wardlow. And that's saying something. I have no interest in seeing Wardlow giving the F5 to Satnam's team. I don't give a shit.
Nope.
Sanjay Dutt, please, for the love of God, folks, I get he got a new promotion and a tower relations, and that's all great and everything. And I agree with what you said about massive rates. So that's another nice positive I could throw in there. But going back to this, keep all microphones away from the following performers, because this is going to tie into us something.
Yeah, please.
Please keep all microphones away from Sanjay Dutt.
Yes.
Magic Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, especially Angelo Parker, and Stokely Hathaway.
Oh, God. He was terrible. Oh, my God. Can we throw Anna Jay in there, too?
Yes.
I please don't ever let Anna Jay talk.
Should I bring up what I mentioned to you last night about Anna Jay?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, let's save it for a little bit later on, and when we get to the Jericho Appreciation Society stuff later on in the show. But and as far as the Jay Lethal Orange Cassidy match, I said, it was fine, I guess. There was just way too much downtime in the match. Like, there was just way too much stuff where nothing was going on. And then they do these exploder segments for 30 seconds, and then they would just sit there. Like, there was no flow or pacing to the match.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's gonna be hard for me to come on here and say that Jay Lethal has a bad match. Like, you're not gonna hear that from me. But again, with the parameters that we're dealing with, we got the company's mascot taking on a professional, and it sold the entire match. It's like they do this spot where they're like attacking Cassidy's ankles, but they go up the rampway, and he still got to do his stupid fucking kicks up the rampway, just making Lethal look like a jackass. And then it wouldn't be AEW without 6 or 8 people coming to the ringside area. You know, yeah, best friends and whatever the fuck. By the way, Trent and Chuck, they suck.
They suck. They're awful. Yes, they're terrible.
They're fuck Taylor, and who gives a shit about me, Beretta? They suck. Okay, like.
But you know what? You bring back Trent's mom, and the crowd's gonna go nuts.
Right, but what the hell were they going for last night? Can you tell me what reference that was to some shitty B movie that I didn't watch?
No, I have no idea what that was. That's
brutal.
It was terrible. Yeah. So it's.
This is the scenario where nobody got over in this, and this is your opener.
I saw this on someone put it on Twitter. They said, "Man, what a week it's been for Jay Lethal. First, he had to carry Ric Flair and Jeff Jarrett and Andrade, and now he has to carry Orange Cassidy. Like, give this man a raise." Oh, God. Okay, Josh. The Undisputed Elite is back.
Oh, okay.
And so we get story time with Adam Cole, baby. And instead of building up, maybe we'll get something out of nowhere. The Undisputed turn on the Elite and take. Which, listen, I'm all about the Young Bucks getting hurt. Don't get me wrong. Like, if it means the Young Bucks stay off my television, I have no problems with that. Yeah. But we're finally getting the long-awaited and quote-unquote much-anticipated feud between the Undisputed Era and the Elite. Okay, so Adam Cole is not cleared. Kyle O'Reilly's not cleared. Bobby Fish is useless. So what are we going to do? Are we going to build up the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page, and then eventually when Omega comes back, which, God, this means Omega's coming back. And, oh, God. So what are we going to do? Are they going to convince Roderick Strong to join? So we've got the Undisputed Era against the Bucks and Hangman Adam Page and Omega. Like, Okay, we do that for a little while, and then what do they all do? Go back to irrelevance, just like they always have been. It'll be fine. It'll get 8 stars from Meltzer. It'll get a huge pop at all out or whatever Revolution or whatever pay-per-view they do. Yeah. And then it's just not going to matter because is there anyone that has been a bigger disappointment in AEW than Adam Cole? I'm sorry. No. It's so there's just no build to this. I didn't like this. What did you think?
Every time I see the Undisputed Elite and anytime I have to think about the Elite and their drama and their friends and all friends wrestling, this song comes to my mind.
And Josh, for our viewers that don't know, could you tell us what that is?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the theme song of General Hospital.
Listen, when I was growing up, my mom used to love soap, so I got some General Hospital fill. But yeah, exactly. It's a soap opera, and they all go to the hospital because of Tony Khan's wrestling style. All sends them to the hospital.
Yeah,
fucking Mark. So fine. You know, was there a more uninteresting turn for something that's been built for a long time?
Like comparing this to the Shield breakup is like not even close.
No. So. Anyways, okay, then we get the Moxley promo, which I know you liked. I thought it was fine. So for the past 2 weeks, Josh, apparently the Jungle Boy and Christian Cage feud is only going to end when one of them commits murder. Because Christian Cage said he was going to kill Jungle Boy. And then this week on TV, Jungle Boy tried to run over Christian Cage with his car. That car ran over Austin! That car ran over Austin! Apparently it was 1999 week on AEW because we had that angle from 1999. And then the Matt Hardy and Christian Cage match, which we'll get to here in a little bit. Oh boy. So I guess murder is the theme of the week, Josh.
Hey, it's TV 14. Death sells.
So okay, we'll get to their match here in just a little bit. So now we get the women's match. Not before the main event segment this week, but we get Thunderstorm versus DMD and Jamie Hayter. Now, to be fair, I thought this match was fine. It was what it was. Good performers, having a match, but the pacing was not good. The flow wasn't good. There was too much downtime. There was awkward spots. For how talented these women are, this was kind of man. It was a mid-card dark match that was featured on Dynamite, which is unfortunate because they're all good performers. So the match was fine, I guess.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How many seconds usually are you supposed to get out of the ring after you make a tag?
I believe it's 5, is it not?
Not in AEW. 10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds in AEW.
I know the rules of AEW, even though they don't. Obviously, they don't pay attention. They don't. It's a 10-second rule to get out of the ring.
Fine.
Again, good athleticism. Physicality is fine. No problem. I like all 4 women. It's not a personal knock on them. But this match, for me, typing it out, was the drizzling shits. And again, this is another scenario of don't let the TV crowd of AEW mislead you. This match was a clusterfuck. Paul Turner is just as inept as Don Stevens. Honestly, Burkhardt, the last 3 or 4 minutes of that match, all 4 women were in the ring. Am I wrong? They were all in there doing spots and doing a whole bunch of shit.
What?
And then I think I heard something about Britt Baker kicking Rosa in the head after the match was over on her way out of the ring. Oh God!
Good.
First off, this match did not need to happen because we saw it like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And again, okay, when the women's division sucks, what we gotta go run back to? Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. Let's run that back for All Out for the 5th time.
Now, so that they can bleed and do, a hell in their version of it. Watch them have a barbed wire death match.
Oh God!
Watch it, Josh. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker in a barbed wire anything match. Again, you know what? I
can't wait for AEW's version of the Elimination Chamber.
Josh, I hope they do that so that when all TV executives have to do, or Tony Khan or WWE, they have to do to the TV executives and go, okay, here's what you're going to get with their show. Women with barbed wire scraping and clawing each other just to whatever. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Yes. Okay, so we've got our first match announced for All Out. You would think maybe it'll be your world title match. Maybe it'll be the finals of your trios tournament. No, the first announced match for All Out is Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston. So, because Guevara's on his honeymoon doing his thing with Ty Conti, which fine, like Guevara's going to be the douchebag heel. So, and that is kind of stuff that the douchebags would do. So I actually didn't have a problem with that. That was fine. But Eddie Kingston cuts him off and starts to talk because that's the thing that Eddie Kingston does the best is talk. He's very good actually as a talker and at cutting promos. So that's good. This is a match that should be taking place on Dynamite, not on your pay-per-view.
Don't you notice that Ed Kingston's like trying to rip off MGF? Like try to bring down the fourth wall stuff, like, using buzzwords. Don't get me wrong, I love Eddie Kingston on the mic, but just because your company's too scared to mention MGF on your broadcast because he's actually one of the few good performers you actually have on your roster, you got to have everybody on the roster rip off his promo style or try to do the shoot interview that he did. I've been noticing that a lot recently. Honestly, that match, I don't care. The fact that Ed Kingston still interacting with people with Jericho and the Circle Jerk or the Jericho January 6th appreciators, I don't care. I don't care.
That's what he's going to do for the next year. Is just he's going to be doing. Then he's going to get into a program with who? Jake Hager. Is that going to be the next program?
Well, guess what? You know what would have been more interesting? Eddie Kingston getting into a program with Bryan Danielson. But no, we had to put over Generic Jones, Daniel Garcia, with this Malibu Most Wanted looking ass this week. Let me find the name of the actor of that movie. Malibu Most Wanted. Hey, Daniel Garcia. Jamie Kennedy wants his swag back. Okay?
He's just the Jericho Appreciation Society they're just again, I now see why WWE released them because good Lord, they're terrible. Okay, so Josh, now we get into the next part. Taz is breaking up a faction that hasn't been relevant in 6 months.
You want to talk about WWE being lazy with their storytelling? So you tell me you could have done this with Taz getting off his ass and going down to the ring and have Hobbs come. How about this? A missed opportunity. I'm not going to come here and shit on the whole thing because honestly, it is a lazy excuse, just a cop-out way to get rid of the group. Oh, I thought the Starks, Hobbs, and Hook, we're done. We're done. We're not doing this, bro. We're done. It's T-Taz is finito. Okay, here's the missed opportunity. You couldn't have Powerhouse Hobbs come up and confront Taz at the announce table. You couldn't have Powerhouse cut a promo for his match.
Right.
Talk about character development. A big, wide missed opportunity right there, pal.
Also, you got this huge momentum with Hook, right? When are we going to see Hook on television this week? Oh, wait, we're not.
Correct.
Hook, who might be one of the most overperformers in AEW, just won the FTW championship. We're not going to see him on Dynamite. We're not going to see him on Rampage. We're probably not going to see him on Dark. Like, is he defending his title at Battle of the Belts?
No. By the way, you know what the hell's wrong with AEW this week? 6 shows. That's
all right. Speaking of things that are wrong with AEW, Josh, Matt Hardy.
Oh God.
Listen. I think you and I can agree. Matt Hardy, one of the greats of all time.
Yes, a great,
innovative, incredibly creative. Great mind for the business.
Yep.
He's got to give it up, man. He looks awful. He looks disheveled. He looks like he's trying to go for as long as he possibly can. And it's just, I'm not even mad about it, Josh. It's just sad. It's just sad more than anything. He looked awful. I thought Christian Cage looked fine. He looks great. He's going to have a nice match with Jungle Boy. But this was just sad, man.
Can I say he looked quite obsolete?
Obsolete. Yes, that's a good word. Yes. But, God, this was bad, bro.
This is rough, man. We go from the publicity stunt that we saw on Sunday night to the running lip man against Christian Cage in a match that went way too long. Yep. A match that had an unnecessary table spot on the floor.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious of the total combined age of this match, because not only had those two in the ring, you had the dead courts ref in there as well. So
I guess easily 130. I mean, my God.
So I find it funny that after the match, Christian was distracted by the devilish Luchasaurus theme song. When you just get back with Jungle Boy and their baby faces.
Oh boy.
We get it. Christian and Jungle Boy are gonna fight each other at All Out. If anything, if you want to get my interest in it, remove the Jungle Boy name and just call him Jack Perry. Let's start off with that. And again, I'm not buying Jungle Boy in this feud. I'm not. Like, if anything, I want Christian to win. That's not what should happen. Like, don't get me wrong, it'll be a fun match at the pay-per-view, but this match did nothing for me to get more interested in their match.
Also, I don't know about you, but I could have done without Jungle Boy's shirt. I don't know if you saw it when he came out. Yeah, if for those you did see, he just came out with a shirt saying Christian is a pussy. Like, is that supposed to intrigue me? Like, is that supposed to?
Nope.
Like, how does that help anything? It's just cussing and profanity for the sake of cussing and profanity, not because it means anything.
Right.
So I thought that was ridiculous. Okay, apparently the AEW All-Atlantic Championship is somehow still a thing, even though it has not been featured on Dynamite or Rampage.
Nope.
Ethan Page is not on TV every week because he hasn't done anything to deserve to be on TV every week. And now he's with Stokely Hathaway. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Do you care, Josh?
Where's Dan Lambert?
Where's Scorpio Sky? Where's any of America's top team?
I don't know. Like, what? It's like, do we need Stokely Hathaway to come down to the ring during every freaking AEW show? He's out there on Rampage this past week recruiting guys. And, like, how many people? Tony Khan, we get it. You want to rip off everything that has to do with WWE. We get it.
They live rent-free.
Alka Bivens was part of the Dynamite and stuff like that. But you got Jay Cargill, you got Kiera Hogan, Lee Moriarty this past week on Rampage. You didn't even see it, Brother Carter, so you probably didn't even know or care, right? Now Ethan Page. Shouldn't Stokely Hathaway and AEW be putting their focus on one of the best parts of the show, which is Jade Cargill, their TBS champion? By the way, which we have to wait till next week for her to finally be on the show. I mean, good for her that she has an open challenge for a TV title, but again. Yeah, so it'll be an open challenge, and they're gonna get some woman who's like 0-16 on Dark to go out there. Yeah, she's gonna fight Heather Reckless.
All right. So we have that. Then we have the Acclaimed doing their rap with Vince McMahon because, again, WWE lives rent-free in AEW's head. We've talked about the dumpster match and
Right.
like I said, I could have gone without the throwing them off the stage too, because I thought the Acclaimed were faces, and that's kind of a heel thing to do. So I was kind of confused by that, but whatever. It was fine. It was what it was. Okay, and now we get to the main. Oh, go ahead.
I have to play this promo for you.
Oh, okay. All right.
And this is Wrestling Being Generic 101. Let's play this.
Please.
The win by Daniel Garcia last week over Bryan Danielson was a big win.
You say it was a big win. It wasn't just a big win. This is the biggest win in AEW history, period. It's not even close. I submitted the American Dragon. I submitted the American Dragon. I am the Dragon Slayer, the greatest technical sports entertainer of all time. Brian, whenever you're ready to come back from injury, whenever your head feels a little bit better, come back here. I got your number. And I'm going to slay the dragon again.
And we'll have more Dynamite in just a moment.
Now, would you need to slay the dragon again if you already beat him?
No, because the dragon's already dead. So which means you didn't get the job done the first time.
Daniel Garcia, a.k.a. Generic Jones. Go ahead, Brother Carter. It's time for the main event.
Well, hold on. What about anything in the Jericho Appreciation Society is relevant at all or is entertaining at all for them who claim themselves sports entertainers? What about them is entertaining?
What? That Jericho's doubling down on his blonde girl fetish? Like, speaking of the Ric Flair rose the app the other day, the host, the MC of the event, his name is Brad Nessler, who's a CBS Sports commentator. Brad mentioned that the panel was so white that if it got more white, that Jericho's wife was going to storm the stage like the captain.
Ooh!
Oh, that was a great line.
Oh, dang!
Honestly, can you tell me what other purpose that Anna Jay serves to this group outside of her waterfall appeal?
None. Absolutely nothing. She's annoying on the mic. She's trying to be a badass by choking out some random staff member. It's boring and it's lame. Okay, let's get to the main event.
Yes.
Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, Josh, but Dawn Stevens did something useful this week. She actually recognized that there could be a problem, and she removed the JAS from ringside. What a concept!
But it wouldn't be a Dawn Stevens match without her making herself look like a fool towards the end of the match.
Well, that's true. And Josh, explain to us how she did that.
So, again, here we are. We got the Colby God against Wheeler Useless as the main event. Who thought in 2022 we were penciled down as that being the TV main event in 2022? Again, Wheeler Yuta falls into the generic Jones category of wrestlers. Nothing unique. I see every moveset he does in every other promotion. It's nothing unique to him.
Times New Roman font.
It's like, it's funny that they had to add all the bells and whistles to this match, Red Carter, to make the match of Wheeler Yuta interesting, you know? So, credit to Don Stevens ejects the January 6th appreciators from ringside. And then towards the end of the match, you know, they're doing their brawling and stuff like that. You're trying to come with a comeback. Jericho grabs the baseball bat, right? Floyd. And oh, Don Stevens, you are something else. Not only does she not she doesn't kick the bat out of the ring. We see the low blow, right?
Right. I saw that.
You gonna tell me that she not see that with her eyes? That was not right in front of her face. Right?
Again,
pretend that she didn't see it. Just absolute grade A homogenized bullshit. Even for the fact that this is the main event with, and don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed hearing William Regal on commentary during these matches with the Blackpool Country Club. But honestly, for me, like even for him, he was disinterested in this match. This match got nobody over.
Nope.
Nobody cared about it. And for Mr. Tough Guy Jericho, he ran away like a little girl from Moxley. And this is the funny part about this. We talk about Cap and like this full out lies and Cap alerts. This whole thing about Moxley being a mark for this is Mark booking right here. The whole premise of the match with John Moxley and Chris Jericho is that Moxley wants to fight Corazon De Leon, the Lionheart Chris Jericho, right? And he wants to fight the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon. I think Jim Cornette brought this up on the podcast this past week. That Stu didn't train Jericho. So the last survivor of the dungeon, my ass. Okay, Chris Jericho got trained by Bruce Hart. Wow, who gives a shit about Bruce Hart?
I don't even know who that is.
That's Bret Hart's brother. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I don't care. Right. So
it's just, again, Mark booking. You're having a world title match based on a gimmick that Jericho did in '95. That was okay.
But again, this is what Tony Khan does. And now they're both going to bleed next week and have another garbage match. And the Quake by the lake, the penis by the anus, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's going to be what it is. So I don't care. So they're going to have a garbage match. Then they're going to have a coffin match, which is going to be a garbage match.
Yep.
I don't know, Josh. It's AEW is sad. It makes me sad. I have absolutely no once again, they're going to figure out in about 2 weeks. Oh, wait, we've got a pay-per-view coming up. We should probably try to sell this.
Yeah, let's have some actual matches.
Yeah, right. So, and again, they cuss at the end just for the sake of cussing because apparently that sells tickets. So this was an awful edition of an awful program, of an awful promotion. And Josh, I don't really care. Anything else you want to say?
That was another edition of WCW Thunder. And that, my friends, is what the hell is wrong with AEW.
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Profanity rules! What a joke. Brother Adam, take us home.
Don't forget, folks, don't get to see Rampage tomorrow with John Moxley and Mance Warner and Battle of the Belts where you have Thunder Rosa against Jamie Hayter, Cesaro against, Claudio Castagnoli against Kenosuke Takeshita because they're trying to make him to be the Shawn Michaels of wrestling. And forgot, who cares about that Battle of the Belts?
We just, there was one other match. Yeah, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Hey,
Wardlow and Jay Lethal.
That'll actually be good. And hopefully, and we get to see Madison Rayne on Friday. So I'm very excited about seeing Madison Rayne. But that's it. Whatever.
All right, folks. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us this week. Another stellar edition of the podcast at Hoots. You can follow me at Twitter, Instagram if you like at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to follow Brother Carter on Twitter at Derek Stoughton, Jericho06. That's Jericho with the D. On Instagram, make sure to check out DerekStoughton.com to check out his musical adventures and support his work at WrestlingRumors.net. As well, for me, you can check out my work at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Busy weekend ahead as I got to do these ancillary AEW shows, especially tonight. Another edition of Dark Elevation. And, of course, Battle of the Belts coming up this Saturday as well. So it's going to be a long weekend of articles, so you can check that out, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast anywhere you get your podcasts from. Drops free of charge every single Thursday. We just passed 500,000 downloads on Anchor, which is pretty cool. So I want to thank you all for your support. and another fantastic episode. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. Thank you, Brother Carter, for hanging out with me as always.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to doing it again.
Yes, sir. For the director of all operations, because
I operate all directions.
That's right. For Brother Carter, I'm Josh, and this has been episode 321 of the Hoots podcast. Enjoy some football tonight, and go Raiders!